Hi, welcome to valuationpodcast.com, a podcast and video series about all things related to business and valuation. My name is Melissa Gragg, and I provide online valuation services for mediation and litigation based in St. Louis, Missouri. Today, we're actually going to discuss a buyer's perspective and risk factors in business valuations with Al Danto. He has over 30 years of experience with startup companies, entrepreneurial companies, as well as expertise in the acquisition, valuation, and divestiture of business interests. He has served as a representative for a multitude of engagements. He has experience working with lenders, private equity groups, and individual purchasers or buyers. And he served on a variety of boards, including the alumni board of the Graduate School of Business at Rice University. He is also a full-time professor at Rice University, and he's a member of the NACVA, which I am also a member of. So welcome, Al. Talk to us more about, well, this kind of goes towards what you were talking about earlier, is that people are more concerned about losing than gaining. Whereas in the sale process, we're trying to figure out how to get the highest dollar, really. Like, how do we showcase this in the best light so that we get top dollar for it? And so it does take kind of a change in thought process.
Exactly. And, as an entrepreneur, and I've been an entrepreneur all my life, we're optimistic, right? We're incredibly optimistic. The glass is always, more than half full, right? It's 3/4 full, no matter what goes on. But again, just to tie this back, what moves these valuations up and down is when you look at it from the outside and you realize that someone's looking at the pain of loss, and it's asymmetric. They're going to put more. And so the first thing we have to do is business owners and those advising business owners to increase their values to say, okay, how do I reduce all these? And how do I move myself above average relative to the other companies in my industry, right? If certainly a flower shop's going to have a different maybe average than a software as a service company, than a manufacturing company, but I want to be well above average.
Well, and that kind of gets towards some of your current mission, not only to teach, upcoming valuators and CPAs and bankers and such, but to also help business owners prepare for an exit and increase the value of their company, which when we were talking earlier, I see a lot of very successful business owners that don't always prepare to exit. They just are kind of like, I'm successful, I'm making money, I'm going to work until I die, and this is what I love. And then a buyer comes along and says, hey, would you be interested in maybe selling your company? And they scurry around because they're like, well, maybe, I don't know. What should I do? How should I react? And you kind of get them more prepared. And maybe we can talk about how you do increase the value of your company.
Sure. And again, I think it comes back to people ask the greatest lesson that I ever had in my life. It changed my life, changed my fortunes forever, was when I had that meeting at the hockey game with Russell Vail, and he said, hey, look, take the risk out, get this recurring revenue, right? And we did that. And so relative to all the other printing companies that are out there at our size, we got this very high valuation. We really did, because we were able to do this. This really came out of I guess frustration and empathy, but sometimes I feel like my role, and again, after I sold my company and went back to Rice, people just started reaching out to me, and say, hey, can you share experience? And sometimes I felt like I was a doctor, and some 60-year-old person came up to me and said, man, you got high cholesterol, high blood pressure. He says, what can I do? I said, we should start this 20 years ago.
Right.
That's a lifetime, right? And others can come in there, man, they're in great shape, and they run and they exercise and they do all these things. And they were really well prepared and ready. So sometimes it gets a little too late. We'll walk through some of the common risk of a business, but just for example, owner involvement. If you're involved in the business and you're there day in, day out, and the business revolves around you, then what happens when you leave? And again, someone will see this, and that really decreases the value. So preparing and getting ready for stuff like this. And maybe a really good example is a longtime friend of mine. He got free advice from me for years as he was building his business because we were just friends. I still play hockey here in Houston. I grew up playing in Michigan. I play down here, and he was a hockey friend, and he'd say, "Hey, I want to do the right thing selling my business." And he intuitively just did all these things. He removed himself from the business. He was a process engineer. So he said, my goal was from the time that a phone call came in or we got something off the internet to the time cash came in the bank, it was a process. And I had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. And he built this up. He had 230 reviews, Yelp reviews and stuff, Google reviews, 215 of them were 5-star, a couple 4 stars, and a 3-star, which is I really screwed up. But he did all these right things. And then he approached me, said, I want to sell my business. My financial planner said, if I can get this, I have enough put away, I'm ready to move on. And we looked at it, and we did his valuation. One of my young guys looked and did his valuation and put him kind of about average. I said, no, we got to put him way up here above average because you just don't find a little. He installed closets. It's a closet company, and it built up a great business over the years. And he just was way out there. So we went out to the market. It was incredibly popular. And we put his valuation way out on the curve, and he actually had an all-cash offer for even $100,000 more, right, than we even put it out there for. And all of his peers said, well, man, these companies are selling way back here. Yeah, that's because you've got a funnel and you keep track of your sales and you've got great reviews and you have a process. So all these things that he did got him this incredible valuation when it came time to sell. So that's what goes into. In essence, he removed the risk.
Yeah.
And people knew it. It was authentic, right? He didn't just make it up at the end, but it was very authentic.